Hello and welcome back to the Sports Lounge. It's me again. And you know when you see me, it's always a great time. We're going to be talking basketball, football, F1, everything in the world of sports. And today I have a very, very special guest. He's an OG who happens to be an MOG. So I'll allow him to introduce himself. Sir, welcome to the set.
That was a good intro. I didn't see that coming. An OG that become an emoji. Wow, that's nice. Well, my name is Femi Oshuneye, and I'm a sports enthusiast. I think my earlier days I spent a lot more time watching. Now I sort of just watch the highlights and get the results. But yeah, that's about me. And I happen to be a pastor in my day job. So
Awesome, I told you, it's going to be a very spiritual experience. And with me, I have Treasure. Treasure, introduce yourself to the people.
You guys already know me. No more introductions needs to be done. Treasure, some people call me the Formula One god, but we are here today to talk about basketball. So just follow us on this journey.
All right, thank you so much. So let's get right into it. Treasure, do you have a bottle with you? I think I saw you with a bottle earlier.
No, that was.
You have a bottle? Oh, okay. Let's
I dropped it somewhere actually. I dropped it at second position. I think I dropped it at second position.
Let's move into the football aspect of things, right? So I know that you are an Arsenal fan. So how has the transformation been for the past 2-3 years under Mikel Arteta? Now that Arsenal are seen as a serious contender now for the Premier League. Last season, we all know what happened last season. And this season, you were poised. Everyone has said, no, Arsenal are looking poised. They're more mature, spent the money. And now, what happened over the weekend, it wasn't palatable. Liverpool and Arsenal dropped points, and it seems like Man City are about to run away for a forfeit. So, what are your thoughts on this season, and what are the chances of you actually staying the course and winning the league?
Well, first of all, as a preacher, I didn't understand when you say it looks like Man City are about to run away with the league. Like they are 1 point ahead. So as a preacher, I would say we don't say never until the old lady sings. So we're still in the title race. So albeit it's a little bit more precarious, but you see, this dry bone shall live. Second thing you asked about the transformation under Mikel Arteta has been remarkable. I will say, I feel a bit sorry for Unai Emery though, because Unai Emery came across as someone who actually didn't know anything, and we all know you don't win the number of Europa Leagues that he won without being good, and we are seeing that with Aston Villa. Sadly, we saw what he did to us. But usually there's a saying in sports that you should not follow. As a manager, don't follow the legendary manager. You want to be the guy after the guy who followed the legendary manager. And I think with Unai Emery, it wasn't just that he followed Arsene Wenger. There wasn't the technical director side, on the owner side, there wasn't a clear. The structure wasn't really great. There was a lot of chaos that was going on there. So Mikel Arteta actually was a beneficiary of a more stable structure. The people believed in him. They stuck with him. So despite the 8th finishes, they could see what was going on. And the truth is, Mikel Arteta is a brilliant manager. Now, I think the greatest transformation for me is really the defense. And what you see a lot with modern day football, defending is strictly not about only the 4 people. It's not even simply about having a defensive midfielder or 2. It's everything to do with defending as a unit. So now we understand why someone like Mesut Ozil had to go. As brilliant as a footballer he was, but he couldn't defend within that system. So what you're seeing with Mikel Arteta, I do think, is a remarkable transformation. You're seeing a whole, a team that is working with a philosophy of a really brilliant manager. So it's actually, it's incredible to watch. Just seeing the development of the players, Saka just has gone leaps and bounds. Martin Odegaard, who was almost a failed person at Real Madrid, look at his leadership there. Saliba and Gabriel, Ben White, Zinchenko, Jorginho seems to have a new lease of life. Leandro Trossard. I mean, he's just elevated almost everyone that has come in there. So we're really, really pleased with what.
So I feel like you're speaking for a bulk of the Arsenal fans here, and the progress has been good to see. I won't even lie. I'm not an Arsenal fan.
What fan are you?
I'm a Manchester United fan.
Wow! Wow!
You guys.
Wow!
When you see the
Our
progression-
market. Yeah, okay. That's
when you see the progression, it's been good to see from the Arsenal perspective. Now let's switch gears to Liverpool, right? And I come to you with this treasure. Some would say Liverpool have gone down by a goal down 19 times this season, and they managed to win. Would you say that the bad habits are finally catching up with them?
Yeah, that's basically, or that's possibly what we're actually seeing now. Liverpool has chosen the wrong time to be having issues with their squad. And what I mean by that is they've chosen, like, in my mind, they've chosen the wrong time to have a slump. Because I think after the FA Cup defeat to Manchester United, it hasn't been smooth sailing since then. And then one of the biggest reasons as to why is the guy that is their number 9 at the moment, Darwin Núñez. I was looking at chances, big chances converted.
I wish Abiola was here.
I was looking at big chance. He has scored and assisted like quite a number of goals this season, but you now see his big chances missed. Against Atlanta, he had a one-on-one that he could have easily dispatched. And for some weird reasons, that ball did not get anywhere near the net. Against Crystal Palace. Against Crystal Palace, we saw like there was literally an opportunity just between him and the goalkeeper, a corner kick. And then all he had to do was play it anywhere else but the middle. And somehow, Núñez just played it directly to the goalkeeper. And then I just think like, for someone that is touted to have such huge potential, such raw pace, such power and everything, he still needs to really work on his finishing, because as much as he is elevating them, he's also costing them a lot. And then we are beginning to see it now, like before now. I heard when the commentator was saying like they've come back how many times from losing positions and they've literally won the game and everything. And then Crystal Palace was out for them. That second half especially, they were just dogged.
I think Crystal Palace are like
Very dogged in defense.
They're trying to win a championship. They're trying to win the Premier League. Crystal Palace are a team you do not want to play when there's a few games to go. They've done it to Chelsea, they've done it to Liverpool, they've done it to Manchester City. So they are like the team. And so a question for you, right? I was reading so many reactions after the Liverpool game. People came out and started even attacking Salah. They said for the past few games when Liverpool are trying to go in the running, Salah always goes right. I think he had 4 goals in like 11 games during the season where Man City took them over. But the season where they actually won, Mane was the one that scored the crucial goals down the stretch. So they are someone actually outlined like past 6-7 years Salah goals team. And I was like, that was actually very interesting, right? And this season, after the AFCON, it has not been the same.
So
what do you think that there's some credence to that, or people should respect Salah more?
I think people should give Salah a bit more respect. Come on, it's Salah. It's Mo Salah, one of the greatest right wingers in the Premier League, or the Premier League that has literally graced the Premier League. I think what's happening to him this period is, I think after during the AFCON, he actually got injured, and then he basically came back. And then sometimes we know like certain people, when they go like have like an injury that keeps them out for a bit of time, it takes a bit of while to get clicking again, that consistent form that they have and all. I just think like it would be very unfair for everybody to put the blame on Salah, because football is a team game. As you said, that time when Salah wasn't there, Mane was there, right? And I do think like football is actually a team game. So it's not a thing of, just Salah alone, but there's, I won't call it, it hasn't gotten to the point of an inquisition yet for Liverpool, but some questions have to be asked about some of the other players as well and what they're actually contributing to the team.
All right, fair. I see where to react to. Do you want to react to what he has said?
No, well, I tend to agree with him. I would say though, the time will tell if this is correct. But I do think I was a bit surprised at how bullish people were on Liverpool. No, Liverpool. I don't think the Liverpool squad is that good. I actually think, they are overachieving. No one had Liverpool in the title race. Very few people had Liverpool in the title race.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, so well, you show me that crystal ball. But I think this is the force of having a legendary manager. I really do think so. I think, you mentioned Mane. I do think people also underrate the importance of Firmino in that three-pronged attack, because he was the glue that held them together, right? So you had two really good finishers that really understood themselves. It wasn't just that Mane was scoring, it was that Mane knew how to hold things up for such a short play and really, really strong, that actually had, that could make Firmino and Salah make certain runs. But Salah is an incredible finisher. The problem you have with Nunez and what's the other Colombian guy?
Diaz.
Diaz. Incredible pace. They're not very good. They're not very intelligent players in terms of their IQ. There's raw pace, amazing finishing, but what you had with Salah, Mane, and Firmino is high football IQ. And that had, there was a lot that was going on there. And I think the midfield, even though, some of the guys, the McAllister, I can't pronounce, Szoboszlai, again, they have, nice finishers and all of that, but the sense, the creativity, the Fabinhos, you cannot compare both squads, I would say. So I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool finish a distant third, to be honest, to Arsenal and Man City.
Right, so we just got a first prediction here, Liverpool third, maybe the Arsenal first, Man City third.
That would be great.
Let's keep that in view. So before we move to the basketball section, let's quickly do some predictions, right? The first set of Champions League quarterfinals have been played. Semi-final bracket is looking good already. So tonight, by the time this airs, you probably will have seen the game. So you guys have to make your predictions. Right? So Arsenal, Man League, who are you picking?
That's hard. But I'm going with 1-1 after extra time, and I'm going with an Arsenal victory on penalties.
So the Arsenal fan picks Arsenal. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
So how about you? Who do you feel Man City and Real? That's like the most balanced tie. Arsenal, Madrid, Man City. What do you think is going to happen?
I think Man City might just slightly edge Madrid, because I think for them to have been able to go to the Santiago and then get that kind of a result, and then coming home to the Etihad, I think the whole home advantage would actually come into play in Man City's favour. And then Real Madrid don't have Tchouaméni, which is a very big miss as well for them in that setup like they had last week. So I do think I see Man City just edging Real Madrid.
All right, fair enough. Man City, Arsenal. So a Premier League affair in the semi-final. So we'll be moving over to the basketball segment now, and I'm really excited about this one, because it's not all the time we get to tap into the knowledge of someone that's watched different eras, different superstars, right? So I'm really excited about
These are nations.
I don't know. Which one is that he's about to die off? I'm around.
Very much around. So the first question I'll pose to you is, how have you followed this season? And this season has been one of those very odd seasons where different things have happened, different teams have come up, some have come down, right? What give us your take on this the regular season that just wrapped up?
First of all, the East is crap.
Everybody knows.
I literally, as I was coming, I had to go and check who was in the plane. I knew it was 76ers and the Heat, the 7th and 8th. I honestly forgot about the
Hawks and
the Hawks and the Bulls. Like, it's almost irrelevant. So obviously Boston are the best, but there's a gap between that and the rest of the guys. The West is, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not mistaken. The Warriors finished with a 46-36 record, and they were 10th.
As according to Stephen A. Smith, Wild Wild West.
I mean, that's incredible. So
the Lakers had finished in the East; they'll have been fifth or in fifth.
Yeah. So the level of parity, and going into the last game, the last day of the season, and all these number of seeds that you weren't quite sure. And this has a lot to do with the parity that's there. So the first thing I'll say about the exciting thing about the league, I really have a lot of respect for the commissioner, Adam Silver, because he's always innovating. He and his team are always innovating on how things can be improved. So you bring in the playing tournaments, there's a sense of urgency. I'm a huge fan of the playing because it keeps the season exciting up until the end. And you guys know how it used to be a few years ago. Man, it's like, we may not even get this 8 seed though. 15 games to go, we just start tanking. And so it's not. So there's that excitement. So I do think that I think this season has been exciting, and if you move apart from the East, the West, there's just you're not sure what may happen in the playoffs. Even the play-in, some people are saying that the Lakers, are they sure they should have won the game against the Pelicans?
Because they're going to face
they're going to face the Nuggets. So some people are saying that the Lakers should probably have lost the game to the Pelicans so that they can get a better seeding. But you can't predict what happens. Do you really want to play the Sacramento Kings and all of that? But think about the Clippers and the Mavs. Who are you going for? You don't know. The Suns and the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
At this point, seeding doesn't really matter, right? Okay, Nuggets and Lakers, maybe. I mean, the chances are you bet on the Nuggets all the time.
Please don't tell him that.
But,
Lakers
I am a LeBron fan too. Yeah, same here. But if AD plays the same way AD has been playing, and AD always seems to get a better one over Jokic, who knows? Now, there's the extra factor of the other three supporting cast. But even down to the top seed, the OKC.
Yeah.
OKC and
whoever
finishes with most likely the Kings, right? But even with Pelicans, I mean, it's exciting. So I would say, if you ask me about how the season has gone so far, I do think it's exciting, particularly from the West.
All right,
the Knicks have been nice to see, though. But
thank you. I'll come back to you with the particular
Okay.
but I want to move to you now. Staying on the plane. We've seen Warriors lose out. I mean, their dynasty seem to be over. I mean, I don't know how Clay can look at himself, wake up this morning and look at after going 0 for 16.
10.
0 for 10, yeah.
2 for 10 for the entire game, 33 minutes, and you're looking to get a max deal in the summer. I mean, how can you justify that? The Kings look like they are likely going to beat the Pep because just got news before we came on.
That Zion is
He's out.
he's not going to be around.
So looking very likely that the Kings will meet the OKC. Let me ask you now. Drop a brief. Do you think the Pelicans have a shot to beat with Brandon Ingram back? Maybe CJ McCollum can be angry at how the Lakers won and then try to.
So continue from where he stopped, right? The thing with the West right now is you can't necessarily have clear favorites. I don't think Sacramento looks like they're going to edge it, but I also don't think like they're the clear favorites. And there's a reason why. I was listening to one of the podcasts earlier on today, and the guy was giving his analysis, and then he was like, even if, because he didn't know at that particular point in time whether Zion was going to play or not. And then he's like, they are going to give Fox and Sabonis a really tough time. Because one thing about the Pearls is that they have very good perimeter defense, right? When you have this guy, what's this, Herbert Jones. Like, Herbert can literally lock up anybody on a very good day and all. And so for me, it's close to tell. I would still give the Pearls a chance. I don't think it's written in stone or cast in stone that the Kings are actually going to run away with this. I think that it's going to actually be a really tough match. And I think what people were saying about Ingram looking very off, and he just came back from injury. Right. And then McCollum and then Trey Murphy III. And then those guys can be light out on their day. I'm not casting aside what a Fox or what a Sabonis or what a Keegan Murray can do. But the thing about the Sacramento Kings sometimes is, one thing that really comes to my mind is their injury, especially to Malik Monk, who was a very, very crucial guy coming off the bench for them. And
still on lock to win 6 months.
So because of those kind of like factors you put into place, and then Keegan Murray had a very lovely game, but he hasn't been that consistent, right? That was like a one-off in a couple of games now that we've literally not really seen Keegan Murray show up and all. So if the Pearls are able to lock down Fox and lock down Sabonis, I think Sacramento is going to really have a tough game with or without Zion. Yeah. So I'm thinking that, in my mind, I'm thinking Pearls might still be able to edge out that thing and get a result.
So let me ask you a question, because over the years we've seen Philly be on the cusp of a something great, right? But something just always happens. Maybe an Embiid injury, or James Harden not ghosting somewhere, Jimmy Butler, all these
Or
issues,
even
right?
Embiid himself
Embiid
just
himself.
disappearing.
This season is a bit different. Embiid went injured during the season, and he has come back, as some people say, fortuitous time for them. And Maxey has been playing lights out this season, carrying them on the PG, on the point guard end, right? Do you think the injury was a blessing in disguise, and do you feel that Embiid will be able to take them now that his back is healthy, they can make a real run at the championship in the West? I mean, East, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not confident. I'm not confident. I think now there's the specific on this issue you said. There's the general thing about food. So the specific is, I don't think the injury was a blessing in disguise because of how long it was. Basketball, like every other sport, is rhythm based. You need to get into a certain level of rhythm, and he's just not there. In fact, you can see that he's not totally healthy. He still limps, occasionally and all that. I actually checked and I saw something that says since he's come back, he's not made one dunk. Not one dunk.
Interesting.
So he's not playing at the dominant level. He's shooting. You can see. I think he was averaging close to where Luka Doncic was before he went. Now I think he's been back maybe 20-something points. He's just not the same person. So that's one. Number two is generally you don't bet on the Sixers in the playoffs. I think the Sixers, their biggest chance they had was the squad that you said with Jimmy Butler. It was the best because we all know Jimmy, playoff Jimmy. that steely, that dog in him. That's what they lack. They've always had soft players. Embiid, as dominant as he is now, for a lot of time, for a lot of his career, was actually a bit of a soft player. And so I still think, Maxey is a great guy. I think Maxey is top 15 in terms of points per game this year. So he's really come up. I think having Nick Nurse as a manager is a good thing. But I still think Philly are a few years away. But the biggest worry I would have with them is actually Embiid's health. Year in, year out. You're almost always on the edge, almost like with Anthony Davis. You're just scared something is going to happen. You're just, and because Embiid is an amazing player. But if you can't depend on his health, and just the construction of the squad. You look at the construction of the squad of the Celtics. That is how you construct a squad. The balance in terms of defense, the balance in terms of how you spread your scoring is the same thing I really like with the Denver squad. People try to do a big three, or you try to have two-star players. But you see the thing with Boston and Denver is like, rather than have a big three of superstars, you may have one big superstar and maybe a star, and then you have two really good players. So you take Denver, for instance, Michael Porter Jr., I think is averaging about 16.7 points. Aaron Gordon is averaging about 14 points. Jamal Murray is averaging about 21, Nikola Jokic around 26. You spread that, you have the effect of a big three. That's almost 80.7, 78 or something. But then you have size in terms of Michael Porter Jr., in terms of defending. You have the fact that it's four players that are a scoring threat, your ability to space the floor, because now you're scared of double teams. So, but when you say we're depending on Embiid and Maxey, Tobias Harris, they should ship him out as quickly as possible. Is he just not been independent for how many years? Had that kind of deal that he has. So when you have to depend on two players, if first of all you're not robust enough, if one goes down, that's the problem. But two, it's easy to double team those, and either of those guys. So even the way they're constructed, I think is a problem. So I believe in Nick Nurse. I think over time maybe they can develop a better squad around Joel Embiid. But I won't put anything. Even this one, I don't know whether they'll be the Heat. So.
All right. So you doesn't believe in Embiid for this season. So let me come to you, right? The playoff is about to start on Saturday. So give me on East and West, right? We all know the matchup. I'm sure the one you're looking forward to is the Mavs and
because of my guy Luka.
So give me quickly a rundown of who you think is going to advance through the East and through the West.
Definitely the Celtics.
Okay.
Definitely the Celtics. Like.
Oh, you mean they will come out?
Come out of the
Totally. Eventually, is that for? Or are you going with the?
So
the
like,
round?
I feel like when we are going to have like the East versus the West at the final championship,
Celtics will be representing the East.
Celtics will be representing the East.
Who do you think will represent the West?
That's wants to speak.
That's no. I can't call Dallas at all. I even for this their matchup against the Clippers, I actually see the Clippers edging that matchup for a couple of reasons. But I do think whoever wins Lakers Nuggets is who will go all the way.
Okay, that's fair. Because I feel like the Lakers feel like LeBron can take them all the way in terms of even not even on the gameplay, in terms of
I can't trust Suns. I can't trust their defense.
On the pitch as well. And the Suns, they have an outside shout because they have Booker.
I can't trust them. Their defense worries.
This is one of the things I told you beginning of the season.
But they're fine. I think they're fine. They got to the playoffs.
You may think that you're going to be the number one seed. I told you, it's going to be very difficult for them to build that squad because of how top heavy that they are. And that's one of the things I mentioned. So, quickly, guys, I've gotten your predictions from the playoffs. Let's really come to you just as we round up. Who do you think is deserving of the MVP? The MVP, I know people say Luka has an outside chance because of how well he did this season. Jokic, because Denver have been great and he's a star man. But people are saying
SG.
Go to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because they have the one seed. He's been their best player. He's carried them.
Youngest team.
He's the youngest team in the NBA. They are way ahead of schedule. I think someone was saying they should make a trade. He wants to make the playoffs, and he said no, that they are good as they are. So, who do you think should be the MVP?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's extremely difficult, and this is interesting about the NBA recent times. It's really difficult. The thing with an MVP is you're always trying to make there's a tension between individual accolades, team performance, and the impact of the player. And so it's if I remove this person, how much does this team capitulate? So how do they affect this advanced stats called win shares and things like that? So let me eliminate first.
It's very difficult.
I think I would, as wonderful as he's been, I probably would remove Shea.
Wow.
I probably would remove Shea. Just let me say, I mean, all of these guys are doing well on those three metrics. I don't have a signature wow game from Shea. The kind, not how many 40-point games did he have this
30
year?
points about.
Now, I know he's
50.
third in terms of, so only three of them. So he averaged 30.1. He's second in terms of points per game. I can't remember, but Luka is number one.
Yeah.
But when you think, I know Luka's had a number of those like crazy triple-double matches, games. I can't remember the ones he did this year, but I know he's had but last year, the 60 points, 20 rebounds. I mean, that's the kind of thing. Nikola Jokic averages, when Nikola Jokic does his triple-doubles, he doesn't do your 22, 10, and 11. Jokic does a sort of 24, 18, 16, things like that, so... And just in terms, we've never seen anything like this with this guy. We've never seen anything in the NBA like this. We've never seen. His IQ level is on the chart. So, man, don't cheat. I would say don't cheat for one reason. Okay. He's number one.
Wow.
He's number one. Either way, but he's number one in terms of points per game, and he's number 2 in terms of assists.
All right, fair enough. So I feel like I understand where you're coming from. But with the NBA these days, there are always narratives coming.
Yeah.
And this season, the narrative is we are going back to the top seed and the top player. I think that's where we're shifting to. Because Charles Barkley said on TNT, if Denver gets the top seed, Jokic should be the MVP. Whoever gets, that's basically what they've been saying all through the season. So I feel like they are moving back in that direction. Before it was, the best player or maybe an underachieving team when Ross did it. the best player.
Jokic did it as well.
Yeah, but you know, it's people that vote for it. But if that's the case,
the media that creates that same narrative, and I think Charles Barkley has a vote.
No, I don't think he has a vote. But I would say if that's the case, if I was voting that way, I'll just give it to Jokic, because at the end of the day, yes, top seed, but it's the same number of wins. It's just the type, you know. But it's
so I think to round up, right, it's very rare we get opportunities like this of someone that's well versed in the world of basketball, has seen different eras, right? So I want to ask you the age-old question: who is your GOAT?
Yeah.
So
you hear his answer. Very interesting answer.
I'm sure as you watch a bit of Magic and a bit of Jordan, I've seen most of LeBron's career entirely. Maybe there's a Steph in there somewhere, but who do you feel is the GOAT of basketball? Or do you feel like it's an ever-evolving sport and there can't be a true GOAT until we all pass it?
And then we'll now come back.
And say, okay, yes, this person.
Yeah, no, I think you can. I mean, the debate is always a good one. I think you can have opinions about it. Obviously, it's era-driven, and so the more you see eras, the better. The evolving game is another thing. I will tell you this. Should I give my top five?
Sure. Yeah, I would love your top five.
My top five is I've got Will Chamberlain at 5. If you don't know who Will Chamberlain is, basically Will Chamberlain, they say the NBA record books is an ode to Will Chamberlain. Only guy that has averaged over 50 points in a season. Yes, it was a less competitive era, but that's still a thing. Only person to have scored 100 points. My number 4 would be Magic Johnson. The greatest point guard that has ever lived as a point guard, not a shooting point guard like Steph, right? So, and I love Steph. I mean, it's the greatest shooter ever, and he's in my top 10. Number 3, the greatest resume in basketball history, period. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 MVPs, best college, best high school, best all of those things. You can't beat that. Number 2 and number 1. Let me put it this way: I have a 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
So I have a tie. I just refuse to. And so, it's really I'll tie LeBron and Jordan. You know, either ways. Yeah. But it's very difficult. I may say Jordan 1A and Jordan 1B, but it's 1-1. But it's. And I've been a LeBron fan since 2020, since before he entered. I knew when he was entering, when he was talking of everything. But the truth is, and when you look at his career, the thing LeBron has for him is the longevity argument. Longevity argument, and you cannot remove that. The health, all of those things, but the health is not by mistake. There's an element of luck there, but he was very intentional with it. But also his all-round game. And LeBron is probably the smartest player that's ever played in the NBA. He's literally the smartest player that's ever played in the NBA in terms of IQ. You know, you've had other people like Bird, Nikola Jokic, and things like that. Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul, you know, people like Jason Kidd, but nobody matches up with LeBron. Jordan is the greatest assassin this game has ever seen. And how many scoring titles? 10 scoring titles. You guys, honestly, you cannot understand. Like, this man was insane. And it was how, I don't think it's spoken about enough about how Jordan actually adapted. He evolved. Because a lot of his scoring titles happened in the 80s when he wasn't winning. It was when he changed his game, actually, to be much more a team player, you know, Phil Jackson's triangle and all of that, that he actually started winning. So he actually did evolve his game. His first three-peat was apart from Scottie Pippen that was there, but his first three-peat, the crew around him was different. For the second three-peat, Horace Grant was the third person in the first three-peat. Dennis Rodman was the second, third guy. But there were all these different pieces, and he was able to adapt. And three-peating, if it was easy, people would have done it. It's only been done 3 times after the Bill Russell era and all of that. So.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I've been able to hear from a lot of knowledge that you have. I told you guys it's going to be a spiritual experience. I'm sure you feel blessed right now listening to all that he has said. We will be back during the playoffs. You know, there's a lot of basketball is not over yet. We're going to be talking about a lot of more basketball. We'll be back very soon. Just watch out and don't go anywhere. like, subscribe, and share.